the far side of town, sharing a dream with anyone. She's made it through heaven, she's made it through hell. It's just another story to tell. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Have you ever wished your life was like the movie on the screen, filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights? Making up a bar queen on the phone in the great big boulevard, the place she belongs. It's just another story she tells. Have you ever felt you're missing the dream? Have you ever wished your life was like the movie on the screen, filled with heartbreaks and fights through Hollywood nights? Through Hollywood nights. Through Hollywood nights. You always looked after me, brother, when we were children. You always had my back. You took all the blame when our father caught us doing things that drove him mad. Through the years I could lean on you when I messed up. I'd call you in the night, but I broke too many promises and we split up. Though I still need ya, you gotta save me now. I'm slipping so far down, it's only you I trust to set me free from this. I don't know how I got into this awful spot. I don't know where it ends, so I could use your helping hand tonight. I wanna say that I'm sorry, I got sidetracked and I left you in the cold. I've seen your side of the story, I felt the drawback. My mistake took its toll. Finally, I have realized I was dead wrong. I wasn't thinking straight. No more lies, and from here on out I'll be better, 'cause I still need ya. You gotta save me now. I'm slipping so far down, it's only you I trust to set me free from this. I don't know how I got into this awful spot. I don't know where it ends, so I could use your helping hand tonight.
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. Hey yo, heart of a villain beats hard in the centrifuge. Bearded BP, 100 interviews. All it takes is 2 mics and 1 line. This is Bearded Villains podcast worldwide. Driving cross countries, getting ball tires. Fam across ponds, always inspired. Chapters connect, and then it's on fire. Check your phone, cause BV is like a live wire. They said that we couldn't do it and that another could. Never underestimate the power of brotherhood. Every bro, every chapter, every caption. Heart of a villain, bro. Lights, camera, action. Action, action, action. Let's go. BP. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain, it's the heart of a villain. From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Friday night edition of The Heart of a Villain, the podcast and live stream devoted to the Bearded Villains Worldwide Brotherhood and the lives they're changing all over the world. Heart of a Villain, Heart of a Villain. Love the jam Jelly did for me here. Once again, if you didn't know, old Jelly from Chicago from the BVC wrote this one for me. Custom song for the podcast. Awesome. Hey, it's Friday night, guys, and it is the 18th of November, over halfway through this month of November. We only have like seven weeks, I think it is, left in the year 2022. Only 7. So this tonight I think could be a short episode tonight, somewhat short, only because I was tossed up between what I wanted to try and cover, and I didn't want to quite go into the old what are we thankful for thing yet, because I'm going to try to pump out another episode next week, and do that possibly in time, maybe on a late Wednesday night that will lead into our Thanksgiving time frame. For next week. So, but I did when I started thinking about time frames, and I started thinking about what's left in the year, and we're kind of in between a couple of different events right now, at least here in the States. And I know that we're coming up on a couple different things in December. We've got a few different drives going on, different things going on, but no specific events really that I've found or been made aware of. And so it gave me a chance to take a minute and just kind of pause and think for a second about what is left in the year. And what are we going to do? What are you going to do? What haven't you done yet that you wanted to do in 2022 that you still have 7 weeks to complete or to accomplish or to get started with? And I've had a few cool, some cool responses that I put out there into the internet world, asking that very question: with 7 weeks to go, what do you still have yet to accomplish that you wanted to accomplish this year? How are you going to do that? And so, those of you who are here in the comments section, if you're watching live, I would love for you to chime in and talk about that here in the comments section. I can bring up some stuff. If you have something specific that you're just kind of jonesing for, that you really wanted to accomplish, and holy cow, did time get away from you now, but you still have 7 weeks left. And let's get some of these things that we've been holding on to accomplished. I know I have a few of my own that time has just gotten away from you, right? And you don't realize it. You don't realize it until the time flies right by you, and you're just like, holy cow, there's just only that much time left in the year. I had so many other things I wanted to accomplish this year. And so it's just cool. It's a cool wake-up call. You know how I like to be here. I like to be positive. I like to talk about how ways that we can be positive and support each other and all that. And so I think this is an opportunity for us to just kind of sit back for a second and kind of take ownership of what we still have yet to want to do, that we still have yet to do, that we wanted to accomplish this year. Everybody has their own, New Year's resolutions or goals or agendas once the year turns around for that whole year. And you have a whole year at that point, right? But now I always love this about this time of year. I love to kind of take stock in what your year has been. And I like to do it in mid-November-ish because it still gives us an amount of time that hopefully you can accomplish something that you wanted to accomplish, right? And I don't like to do it, at that point where it's like 2 weeks to go to the end of the year, because then what more can you really accomplish if you had a major goal that you wanted to prepare for or do? And I'm not talking about like lose a bunch of weight, because obviously that's a long-term goal, and we really shouldn't be thinking of those types of goals or life changes in small increments anyway. Those are grand. Those are larger things. But there's a bunch of little things that you could possibly want to do, and or a handful of little things that could add up to a bigger thing, or that could put you in position to be ready to tackle something else once the year kicks off for 2023. So be thinking about that kind of stuff here in the next few minutes. And if you're here live, I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you in the comment section about anything that's really, really sticking with you. And that is something that if you really think about it, I really wanted to accomplish that this year. And let's try to focus on that, try to be positive about it, help each other out, support each other, and see if we can do to get as many of our goals accomplished here in this year. But as I said before, this is episode 161, and today is actually, and one of the reasons I said this might be a little bit shorter episode is because today is actually my 8-year-old daughter's birthday, and so she is currently up at the church having dinner at a community event with grandma and her older brother. And so they're hanging out over there. I'm sure she'll get a chance to get happy birthday sung to her, and she's all excited about that. Ironically, it was a snow day here today, and I know her class was, her teachers were very excited about the possibility of, being able to sing happy birthday for her and celebrate that day with her. And we live in one of those unique situations as far as school districting. And where we're currently at, we live basically at the edge of where two different districts go together. And our daughter actually goes to the neighboring district where her school is. What's funny is that the school buses from our local district will drive kids to the other one. And it's always been told to us that when our local district has a snow day, meaning that their buses and everything don't even use, they're not in operation, then it's a snow day for her, even if the other school corporation has class, which they did. So they had class today, but she didn't have class today. And so it was kind of one of those weird things. And since she didn't have class today, her teacher called and reached out and said, "Hey, any chance we can do like a Zoom meeting with her? She can come on and the class can say hi to her." And I thought that was really cool, really sweet. So she got to say hi to her classmates. 8 years old, man. It's a cool thing, being able to use that technology and say hi. They sang happy birthday to her. So anyway, we're going to do the evening time traditions of birthday celebrations here in a little bit. So we may, this may not be the full near hour or so, episode that we normally are. And that's fine. That's fine. We've had a few shorter episodes here. We had one that we actually deemed the shortest episode ever, and I think it was like 11 minutes. We're not going to be that short today, but good times, good times. So I have to give a shout out to everybody that is here live with us here today, real quick. Tim is hanging out with us. Says, "Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday." Kevin, how you doing? Good to see you here as well. Hanging out with us. Buddy is also here hanging out with us. He says, snow? Yeah, you don't have snow down where you're at there, buddy. Too bad, too bad. Mark Davis hanging out with us as well. That's right. He says, you know what he says? He says, be the light. Be the light. Ty is here as well. How you doing, Ty? Ty also says, we have to bring this up on the screen. Hi from Honest to a Fault and Saint Girl. Hello, hello, hello. Love it when other people are hanging out with others. Yes, Mark says, hashtag be the light. Yes, yes, be the light. Very cool thing that he came up with a while back that we've talked about several times before. Hey, bros, listening on the road from Chicago to Ann Arbor. That's right, FF Smikey. I'm only pronouncing it the way I read it. It doesn't matter if I know your name. I'm just doing your YouTube names that pop up. FFS Mikey. How you doing? Good to see you listening to us live here on the road trip. Good to see. Good to see. But thank you guys, all of you guys for being here, and everybody else that's here listening live that's not commenting that I can't see. I appreciate you guys so much for being here. If you are listening on a standard podcast platform, again, thank you so much. You, the listeners on the podcast platforms, the ones that can push play and just go about your day and do your random tasks while this thing plays in the background. Those of you who are listening as you drive like that and different things, I appreciate you guys so much. You have been the reason that this show has lasted 161 episodes. Long time. Boy, I tell you, when I started this thing off 3 years ago, I would have never thought that 161 episodes later, we'd still be, at least the people that were telling me, don't do this, definitely would never have imagined that I'd last 161 episodes, much less probably not even 10 episodes. But we are here. We are here. And this, like I said, this show is as much your show as it is mine. So great to see you here. I do have a few merch things and things to share with you guys about other chapters, a couple new merch items, a few old merch items, but we also want to give due to the different chapters that are doing things out there, right? So here is some merch items coming through strong with you. All right, so first up, one of the newest ones this week we got is from West Texas Villains, the West Texas Villains. They came out strong with like 4 new offerings, at least 3 or 4 new shirts that they came out with. I even think they have a patch that's available maybe even on their site right now. I could be wrong, but very cool. And when they went out strong, they went out strong. They have at least 3 different artwork forms on the shirts, 3 different designs. So very cool stuff. They've got their home one, it says Villains on it, and it says West Texas, I think, kind of hidden in the background. They've got, it's Texas Baby shirt, I think is what it says. And then they've got another one that's Good Vibes Only. These shirts are available at bv3w.bigcartel.com. bv3w.bigcartel.com. Ranging in price from $25 to $28. That's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. That's West Texas new shirts. Get them while you can. Get them while you can. Don't forget that the Bearded Villains Wales chapter has 2 different patches out right now. And I think they're all available still. I think they're both available. Could be wrong, but very cool. Both of them are very different, very unique. So check them out if you can. They've got their Remembrance Day patch, Lest We Forget patch. Very cool coloration here for their Bearded Villains Wales. $10 for this patch. And then this other one here is the one that looks like a sketch. It looks like a charcoal sketch. It's the Rustic Miner patch. That's £8. The other one's 10. And they are both available at Bearded Villains Wales. .bigcartel.com. beardedvillainswales.bigcartel.com. Do not forget about the Jingle Beard patch. Proceeds going to Toys for Tots. BV Nova is having this patch. BV Nova. Bigcartel.com. bvnova.bigcartel.com. BigCartel.com. It's a $9 patch that looks like a Christmas ornament. Very cool. Very cool. Proceeds, again, going to Toys for Tots. Next up, don't forget about BV London coming in strong with their Remembrance patch for 2022. Available at Bearded Villains London Chapter.com. Bearded Villains London Chapter.com. £8 for that guy. Do not forget about Rocket City's patch as well. It's their Veterans patch for $12. Available at rocketcitybv.bigcartel.com. Excuse me. I got a tickle in my throat. So, excuse me. So this next one up here is the Pennsylvania East patch. Now, they love coming out with new variations of the same basic patch design. It's pretty cool. They did this for their Halloween patch. They're doing this now for their 2-year anniversary patch. Still have this tickle in my throat. Available at PennsylvaniaVillainsEast.BigCartel.com. Their 2-year anniversary patch. Now, what's really cool, I love, you know me, I'm a sucker for the fine details of a patch, right? And this is really cool because at first glance, it just looks like every other one of their patches, with just some slight alterations to it. They've got the established 2020 on it. They've got the train on there. On the front of it, in the big circle in the front of the train, they have the number 2, and then down the side of the train, anniversary. Very cool. But if you look closely, I have not confirmed this with them, but I think I see something hidden. If you look closely in the actual smokestack, in the smoke coming off of the train, it looks like within each one of the little puffs, they have a number 2 kind of hidden in there. That's what it looks like to me anyway. Maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't. But if it wasn't intentional, then how cool is it that it's there? And if it was intentional, cool job as well. Their BVPA East 2-year anniversary patch. It's a limited patch. Get it now. Get it now. PennsylvaniaVillainsEast.BigCartel.com. And don't forget about this one is also brand new. Philadelphia Bearded Villains. Philadelphia Bearded Villains. They have a Philly Villain shirt. Philly Villain. Just sounds fun. Philly Villain. The pre-sale is now live until December 10th. There is a link in their IG bio where you can go to get this thing. Big, bright red, looks like a red shirt, based on unless the coloring on my monitor is wrong. Very cool. International shipping. Message the IG page if you want one internationally. Pre-sale, again, till December 10th. Hit them up on their IG page for all of the details on that one. And then, finally, the last thing I've got today is it dropped, it's here earlier this week, a couple days ago. It finally happened. Over on the main Bearded Villains page, on the main Bearded Villains website. Check it out under products. The documentary shirt. The shirt, the proceeds of which are going back to us here for the documentary film we're finishing up. We've got a few things left to film, but we're in the process of editing what we have. When I say we, I mean me. I just always refer to us all as we. But me, I'm in the process of editing what I currently have right now. Got a few more little things to round out the film with that I have to film still. But the T-shirt is available. Big shout out to our brother up in Canada, Chris Baduka, for helping me with this shirt and making this design for me. Very cool. It has the tagline for the film, "Every Villain Has a Story." Available starting at $29. $29. It's the normal fee. It's the normal what the BV site normally charges for shirts. So there's no major upcharge on it. And very, very cool. If you buy one shirt this year from the Bearded Villain page. Or if you decide you never want to buy one again, I don't know, because you already have them all or whatever, buy this one. Definitely buy this one. Buy this one and help out. Show your support for the documentary film. Available over at the Bearded Villains page. Again, $29. All the proceeds are going to go to the film. Now, this is a limited pre-sale for these shirts. They will ship out in January, so there's a little bit of time delay there because they have to print them up and everything. But this is a limited pre-sale right now. There's going to be an end date for this pre-sale in just under a week. It's going to be gone. There's a good chance they may come back again for a week before the printing, but we don't have that guarantee yet. So if you want one, grab one now. And that is chapter merch. Okay. I've got a couple things I do want to give shout outs for the chapter news real quick. So let's do that. All right. Well, hey, big shout out to the Bearded Villains Columbia chapter. Bearded Villains Columbia chapter. Now, they usually have a whole bunch of stuff that pops up where we can actually read it, in English, and they did this time, but I wasn't able to find an English version of this thing to put on the slideshow here for us. So, but what they are doing is they are trying to, through donations of toys and or monetary donations, Bearded Villains Columbia is trying to purchase 2,500. How ambitious is that? Think about that for a second. 2,500 toys, I think it is, for children who aren't going to have presents this year, in poor areas, in areas of the country where families just can't provide those kinds of things for their kids. 2,500. So Bearded Villains Columbia, they are accepting donations, but many of us, obviously, since they're an international chapter, and many of us, I know for sure here in the States, we can't get down there to send them something, and it doesn't make financial sense really to send them toys. They are accepting PayPal donations. And their PayPal link is under their Gmail address at thebvcol@gmail.com. thebvcol@gmail.com. So hit them up if you can help out with that. Don't forget the First Coast Villains have a toy drive give back as well. Go to their page on Instagram for the First Coast Villains, accepting things until December 20th. They have a flyer on their IG page where you can scan a QR code for either Cash App or PayPal for monetary donations for those. Very cool stuff. And I think that's all I've got right now for the chapters that have done stuff right now. If you are a chapter that is trying to get word out, if you're trying to raise money or something like that for some toys for kids or homeless something for something going on in your community, especially as the weather gets very cold, please reach out to me and let me know so we can get the word out. But that's all I got right now. All right. So, boy, I'm telling you, I was happy that a few people reached out and responded to me when I asked that question this week about what do you still have yet to do this year? What's on your bucket list agenda thing that you had set up? Your goals for the year, your accomplishment list, whatever it is. What are some of the things that you just haven't gotten to yet? But with 7 weeks out, we can maybe still knock a few of these things off, right? Or we can put ourselves in position to succeed for something else that's a larger item that you want to take off that list next year. So, yeah, we always hear, with people's resolutions that they want to do, lose weight. Okay, that's the big one everybody seems to come up with. And then you get to this point halfway through the year, 3/4 of the way through your year, and you still haven't done that yet. So and I'm one of those. I'm one of those. It wasn't really a resolution per se. It was just something I was intending on trying to take care of, be a little bit healthier this year in general. And then by doing so, then, extra weight would hopefully come off and different things like that. I will say that I've become more active this year. And that's a big thing for me. I think in general, looking back on this year, I've been more active than I have been in the last year or two for sure. I've done a few more things outside the house when the weather was nicer. Got a few things taken off my list that I really wanted to do this year. There's a couple that I did not get to, and I'm still kind of angry at myself because now we have 6 inches of snow on the ground and more coming right now. So there's some things that I didn't get to. Probably even if we get a little bit warmer weather coming back, I won't get to just because weather is what it is, and it's very difficult. Once it starts to snow and we get to the cumulative snow season, until we get to February, March, or April, for sure, when we don't have many snow days, it's hard to get back out there and do stuff that I really planned on doing. So those things will have to wait for 2023. But you know what? There's still a few other things that we can do. And I jotted a few down from some people that reached out and did respond to me. A handful of people did, and that's nice. I appreciate those people. Those of you who read my question and failed to answer, ignored my question, or just said, nah, screw him, I'm not going to answer his questions. Well, thanks a lot. Thank you for adding to the show in such a way, for sure. Rob's giving a shout out here. Rababa on the road over there across the pond. He says, I set aside most of my goals for the rest of the year. Sadly, too much external stuff needs to take priority. But hey, there's always next year. Yeah, there's no need to beat yourself up over not getting things done in the timely fashion that you originally hoped that you would get things done. I think that's a really negative way to look at things, is if you're just like, dang, and you beat yourself up over it. And you start to feel really negative and you start to feel like a failure because you did. No, there's always more time. As long as you are upright and breathing, there's more time. And you just have to decide what things are most important to you. And obviously things come up in your daily life. Some things come up, a week out. Some things come up and just, all of a sudden you have to drop everything and get on top of something new. And that happens in everybody's life. So some of our goals, some of our agendas and things like that we have set up for ourselves for the year, they get passed off. They get pushed aside because of all those things. But the important thing is to not beat yourself up because you couldn't get them done. The important thing is to, when you're thinking that way, not beating yourself up, don't be afraid and don't hesitate to jump back to it. Once you have pushed it aside for a little bit, it's really easy to just sit there and look over at this thing again, right? And just have it chalked up as one more thing that you just, I'll get to it. I'll get to it. And then that list of I'll get to it gets so long that it becomes overwhelming. So recognize that these things that you're pushing off that you can't get to right now, recognize that they're there, but don't keep adding to that list. Try not to keep adding to that list. Every once in a while, find something on that list you can pull back over. Don't be afraid to jump over to that list and grab something and go, okay, today I'm going to get this one thing done. Or this week, I will get this thing done. And that's kind of where I'm at, right? With a few of my things. I had really high hopes for being able to get a book that I have this book idea some of you are familiar with. I have a book idea in my head that I want to get accomplished. I want to get it on paper. And I've shared the topic of that book with a few people. And from what I can tell, it's pretty unique. It's a different take on something that I don't think I've heard of anybody else writing about. So that's kind of cool. It may end up only being like 65, 75 pages, like a very short story. I have no idea. But that's the important thing, is that I know it's there. It's an idea. And so earlier this week, when I had some free time, I went ahead and, hey, I'm going to find a couple hours and get started. And I found a app. I went out and did some research on different apps that might help push you forward, that make it very easy for you to organize your thoughts in a pattern so that you can write something down. And I did that, and I spent a few hours, and I got a bunch of thoughts rather than just some random squiggles on a page, rather than just going into, Word or Pages if you're a Apple user, rather than just going into a word processing document and just starting to type. I found an app that helps me organize the thoughts, and in a way that makes it much easier to try and process when you're trying to type up a book. So that was something I wanted to accomplish this year. That's not going to happen, but I gave myself the credit for at least getting to where I'm at. And I still have 7 weeks left of this year. And I still, if I'm able to get a little bit done a week, that's my goal now. I want to get a little bit more done a week. And so that I have a rough outline, hopefully, shortly after the first of the year, so that within, the first quarter of the year, I'll have the rough draft done, and then I can proceed on, and maybe sooner, we'll see. But the important thing is that when we push these things off, as like anything, think about it like, I know I was a terrible, terrible student in high school, and you push off homework, right? Maybe unless you were really good at, you were a studious person and you actually paid attention and cared about, doing things. But I procrastinated like crazy in high school. So I never wanted to, I just push off homework. And next thing you know, you have 2 assignments that are late. And then you turn the corner and now you have 5 assignments that are late. And then they just keep piling on top of each other. And then you just don't even want to look at it anymore. You're afraid of it. It's that thing under the bed. You don't even want to look there, right? You don't want to it's that closet door. You shove so much crap in there, you shut the door, and you know that if I open up that door, all this crap's going to fall out. So that's the way we are with our lists sometimes, though, I think. We make these lists, we put these ideas together in January or February, things that we want to accomplish for the year, and we don't get to them, so they get shoved in this closet, and then we slam that door shut. But I think it's important for us every once in a while to open that door up a little crack and pull something out of there. And think of it like you've got an entire closet full of clothes that need to go to Goodwill. They don't fit you anymore. You don't wear them anymore. And so it's a huge task to try and go through this huge closet all at once. You don't have the time to do it all at once. But you know what I can do? I can reach in there and I can grab out 4 or 5 things. Put it in a bag. That's what we need to do. Let's think about that. Little bit at a time. We have 7 weeks left to figure something out. So, a few people are commenting in our comment section. I love this when we get some things pushed aside here. Yeah, Joker says, got to keep pushing every day. Joker, good to see you here, buddy. Keep pushing every day. Yeah, absolutely. He also says, keep working on ourselves and our families today and tomorrow. Yes, 100%. Rob, I'm just laughing. Rob always gets me laughing. I very nearly wasn't upright last week. Had a very close call with an idiot driver and the floor. Wow. Well, that's rough. Glad you're here. Scary stuff. Glad you are okay. Yeah, Tim agrees. Glad you're all right. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how we get with things. We get with our ideas and our lists and the different things that we do. Some of the answers that I did get from some people, back to the gym. That's always a big one. Got to get back to the gym. Change your workout habits or your eating habits or something like that. But back to the gym. One of the things that I'm a huge, I'm guilty of like crazy is that you see today's Friday, right? Okay. So today's Friday. You know that you want to start eating healthier, or you know that you want to start working out again. In this case, back to the gym. So you look at this, you think, okay, it's Friday. Wow. Well, I'm gonna aim for it for Monday. Monday, I'm gonna get back to the gym. Okay. Well, what happened to the next 2 days? What's going on the next 2 days? Is there not time for you to start tomorrow? Don't procrastinate. If you have something, and I say this out of one side of my mouth because I know the other side of my mouth, I was doing the exact same thing myself. I look at things and I say, I want to start working out again. Okay, so I know I'm busy this weekend, so I know I really can't start it this weekend. So I'm going to aim for Monday. Monday comes and you haven't really done it. And for whatever reason, could be a number of different things. You just couldn't get around to it Monday. But then you're like, well, Tuesday's not a good day to start something up, right? It's the beginning of your week, part of the week area. You just can't. And the next thing you know, you're saying to yourself, January 1. Okay, January 1, I'm going to start it back up. I'm going to do this thing January 1. Well, the problem with that is January 1, New Year's Day, nobody does anything except for having family parties and fun stuff like that. So January 1 becomes January 2nd. And then, yeah, but I'm recovering from New Year's Eve now. Now I'm recovering from New Year's Day. And the second becomes the third, and so on and so on. So the best thing that you can do for yourself, if you have a goal like that, if that's one of those things, I think one of the best things you can do for yourself is start tomorrow. Start tomorrow. Use these 7 weeks that we have to have 7 weeks of habits built up so that once we hit that Christmas stride where, okay, it's December 25th, 26th, or Christmas Eve, December 24th, you take a break during that time because now you just use the excuse, well, I'll start back up in, January. You already have weeks under your belt of behavior that you started. And then you've already developed that to the point where now it feels weird not to do it, hopefully. If you have a repetitive goal like this, like get back to working out, get back to the gym. So I'm in that same boat. And the goal needs to start as soon as you can. Don't put it off. What's once said? Don't put off till tomorrow what you can start today, right? I think it's something like that. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Yeah. Don't wait. Don't schedule it in a book. Just do it. The soonest you can, start those habits back up. One guy says, unpack his garage. One of our brothers said, unpack my garage. That was one thing that I actually did do. And I'm so happy. So I know that pain. I know how daunting that can be when your garage is just jam-packed full of stuff. It took me 4 attempts. I'd get a little bit done, I'd get a little bit more done, and I'd get a little bit more done each attempt. And then finally this week, I finally got everything put away to the point where we could pull both cars back into the garage. That hasn't happened in almost 2 years. Yeah, that's how bad that procrastination's been. Yeah, we had one car in last winter, but we didn't have both cars in the garage. One always stayed out in the garage, or outside on the driveway. This year, I said, nope, I'm going to have both of them in the garage. And on Tuesday, I was able to finally get everything put away, and into the garage they went. And it was a nice, really cool feeling to finally be like, oh my gosh, they fit. I forgot what that was like. So I know what that's like. Unpack the garage. Unpack the garage. One of our brothers says major life decisions. Major life decisions. Ooh, I hope that's a good thing. I hope that's a good thing. Anytime we get a chance to do something like that and have what would be deemed as a major life decision or a major life change in some way, hopefully those things are for the better. And we're making those with a clear head. You want to make those choices with a clear thought process. Another brother says, hopefully a new job. Yes. If you are unhappy with where you are at in life with your job, if you're working and you're unhappy, I mean truly unhappy, if you dread going into work, if you dread when you're coming home from work knowing that you've got to go back there the next day, and it is bringing you down and you're always in this negative headspace, do yourself a favor and find something else. Now, it's easy for me to say because I'm not in that, I'm not in your shoes, whoever it is out there that's feeling that. Easy for me to say, and I understand that. I totally understand that. But I also know that I speak from experience under the premise of it's much better to have a job that pays less and be happy than a job that pays more and unhappy. If you have to take a pay cut to be unhappy or to be happy, it is so much more worth it. I can say that for sure. So try to find happiness. Try to find happiness. I have a buddy of mine that I know that he ended up quitting a job that he had before. He was very unhappy with it, but he made good hourly rate. Very unhappy with it. And he wasn't even sure if that was the line of work that he really wanted to stay in. So for the time being, he decided to take a part-time job at a fast food place. And he said, it's not hard work. It's repetitious work. And he was able to get, a decent hourly pay with it, where he was at, where he works. But he said, I don't have stress. It's just, you just do the job. And yeah, it's boring at times. And, but he doesn't hate things like he did. So it could be something as simple as that. But find something that at least gives you some happiness. And that happiness doesn't necessarily have to mean that it's happiness because of the job you're doing. But if your job is taking away from happiness outside of work as well, and for some people that happens, it makes them a very unhappy person in and out of work. When they get off work, they're still unhappy, and people that are in their lives, their family members, their children, whatever, they see it, they feel it. So if you're not able, because of a bad work situation, if you're not able to come home happy, if you're not able to be able to flip the switch and be happy in other parts of your life, then man, find a way to fix it. Find a way to fix that. Life is way too short to be walking around negative in a huge negative headspace and unhappy all the time. All the time. It's just bad. Tim says, I need to get my savings built back up. Time off work from surgery drained it. Yeah, that does it. That does it. Been trying to save up money to buy a down payment on a house. Do it. Yes, let's hope. Fingers crossed for you, buddy. I know that's a huge undertaking. Huge undertaking. Kevin says, Florida to Ohio. Huge change, but best choice I have made. So much happier mentally. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And you know what? What's funny is most people wouldn't say that. Most people would say, I would rather go in Florida rather than Ohio. But no, if you find a way, find a way. Florida to Ohio. But you're much happier. Much happier. And that's how you got to do it. That's how you got to do it, man. Well, guys, I don't want to take up any more of your night. I've said kind of what I wanted to say for the night, and that is that we have 7 weeks left. And in these 7 weeks, I just want to push you to be the most positive person you can and pay attention to how much time you really have this year, because there is a lot if you think about it. 7 weeks is a lot of time to get some things done that you've been pushing off, things that you've been shoving into that closet. Don't be afraid to open up the door, even just to peek in there, reach your arm in there and grab something. Pull out one of those tasks, a couple of those things that you wanted to do that you just hadn't gotten to this year, and be able to chalk those up and write them off and cross them off your list before the end of the year. I've got a few myself, and I hope that you guys are also able to do some of that yourselves. Be it, we've got holidays coming up. Maybe it's, being able to visit some family member. Maybe it's being able to open up lines of communication with a lost family member. Whatever it is that's going to make you happy, that's going to push you into next year. And so you don't start the year off already in a negative space. That's one of the biggest things. So many people will do these resolutions or whatever you want to call it, and they'll chalk it up and they don't get all these things done. So what happens the next year? They become the thing that's on their list again annually, every year. These 4 or 5 things are always on that list. So do what you can in the 7 weeks left and push forward and try and find a way to knock off a few of these things off your list this year. And I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear back from you and say, dude, I got these things done. Check it out. They may sound small. They may be small. It could be something as simple as, cleaning up the kitchen that's been, a mess for weeks. Who knows? I'm not going to, I don't know how y'all live, but find a way to do something. That's all I got to say about that. We don't have a whole lot in our calendar of events to this week still, but what we do have, I'll bring up here on the screen. We had Beards Away last week, and that was a success as far as I've heard. They had a great time there with that thing. So really the only things I've got right now on my list that I know of for sure that's not sold out, right? Because Beardingham sold out. So if you were hoping to go on that, you couldn't. Too bad. But December 2nd and 3rd, Jingle Beards, hosted by BV Nova. Hit them up, BV Nova, for Jingle Beards, December 2nd and 3rd. And as I said, Beardingham already sold out. That's it. That's all I've got for this year. If there's something else going on where it's not just your chapter's raising money for something or something, if your chapter is actually going to be hosting people, hanging out, doing a collection of some sort, and then having an event after that, let us know. Let us know. Because sometimes our guys are still traveling this time of year, and we can help each other out. If you've got a collection thing going on, if you're trying to raise money for something, and there's a possibility where chapters or brothers can send PayPal or Cash App stuff to help you out with some homeless drive you're doing or some Toys for Tot drive, let us know. Hit us up. But hey, you know what? That's pretty much all I got on the calendar of events this year. I know it sounds kind of funny, but very, very quiet. Not a whole lot going on. But hey, let's not forget about this one. If you are looking for an all-natural beard oil that will not only tame your beard and coarse hairs, but make your beard soft and smell amazing, check out Pulpo Beard Oils. Veteran-owned and made for today's beards, Pulpo beard products combine the best beard ingredients on the market with incredible customer service to ensure your happiness. Whether you need beard wash, beard oil, beard balm, or some fun clothing, Pulpo is the place to go. Feel fresh, feel savage, feel confident with Pulpo Beard Oils. Go to Pulpo Beard Oils, that's Pulpo beardoils.com, and use the code The Heart of a Villain for a discount on your order. All right, guys. Well, we've had a good night tonight. Kind of quiet, but hey, that's what I was all prepared for. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for those of you who did wish my youngest, my little 8-year-old girl, Skylar, who did wish, come on the line here and wish her happy birthday. I do appreciate it. I'm going to go up and have some birthday cake and watch her open some presents, I think. But hey, guys, that's going to wrap up episode 161 of this here show. Remember, you can still buy all that stuff at heartofavillain.simplecast.com. You can listen to all previous 160 episodes of this here show as well. Some really good ones in there and some not so good ones. But anyway, guys, I want to challenge you to be the villain that the world needs you to be, because the heart of a villain never stops beating. The most important words I say every week, guys. Please remember, it's okay not to be okay. If you are hurting, please find a brother to talk to. Remember, it's okay not to be okay. Well, guys, I will see you next week. We're going to be thankful next week. Think of what you're thankful for and come back next week. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Stay safe.
From the start to the finish, go hard and we winning. It's the heart of a villain. It's the